r/AskReddit, what movie do you never mind watching? Last Crusade, watched it last night too, love that shit. I say this unironically, Kung Fu Panda. Emperor's New Groove, can't help it, I'm clearly a child and I laugh like an idiot every time. The Mummy, a 1999 masterpiece with Brendan Fraser. Office Space, there are tons of movies that I love and rewatch quite a bit, Saving Private Ryan, Hot Fuzz, etc., but Office Space I will always sit down and enjoy if it's on. Well, thanks for all the comments, now I have a great movie list. Shaun of the Dead, such a classic. Jurassic Park. Spirited Away. Groundhog Day, ironically. Galaxy Quest, the best Star Trek movie made, edit. Who'da thunk my most commented comment would have been about a silly parody. Glad to see so many other warped humor folks appreciating a true classic. The Fifth Element, I dunno, it just never gets old for me. Hot Fuzz, edit. Wow, gold, for the greater good, kind stranger. Labyrinth Red Heart. How to Train Your Dragon. The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, it's so quotable, funny, and exciting. The Princess Bride, it's just a fun movie that anyone can watch. Galaxy Quest, could not have been cast better, by Grabthar's Hammer, what a savings. I'll always watch School of Rock, such a happy film. Blazing Saddles, I can't believe this wasn't posted already. I know this movie is older than most of you whippersnappers, but still, I know there's enough of us old farts on Reddit, edit. My first award, thank you, kind stranger. Blues Brothers, one of the greatest unofficial musicals ever made. Forrest Gump. V for Vendetta. Studio Ghibli Howl's Moving Castle. Megamind. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Tropic Thunder. Tremors, the first and fourth are my favorites. I used to spend the day cleaning my house with 1-4 on all day all the time. Mean Girls. Kung Fu Hustle. Clue, I know many people don't care for it, but it is one of my favorite films. Jaws, anything to witness Robert Shaw steal the whole show with the Indianapolis speech. Japanese submarine slammed 2 torpedoes into her side. Chief, we was comin' back from the island of Tinian to Leyte, we just delivered the bomb, the Hiroshima bomb, 1,100 men went into the water, vessel went down in 12 minutes, didn't see the first shark for about a half hour, tiger, 13-footer, you know how you know that in the water, chief, you can tell by looking from the dorsal to the tail. What we didn't know, was that our bomb mission was so secret, no distress signal had been sent, they didn't even list us overdue for a week, very first light, chief, sharks come cruising by, so we formed ourselves into tight groups, it was sorta like you see in the calendars, you know the infantry squares in the old calendars like the Battle of Waterloo, and the idea was the shark come to the nearest man, that man he starts poundin' and hollerin', and sometimes that shark he go away, but sometimes he wouldn't go away, sometimes that shark looks right at ya, right into your eyes, and the thing about a shark is he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes, when he comes at ya, he doesn't even seem to be livin'. Till he bites ya, and those black eyes roll over white, and then you hear that terrible high-pitched screamin', the ocean turns red, and despite all your poundin' and your hollerin', those sharks come in and they rip you to pieces. You know, by the end of that first dawn, lost 100 men, I don't know how many sharks there were, maybe 1,000, I do know how many men, they averaged 6 an hour. Thursday morning, chief, I bumped into a friend of mine, Herbie Robinson from Cleveland, baseball player, Bosan's mate. I thought he was asleep, I reached over to wake him up, he bobbed up, down in the water, he was like a kinda upended, well, he'd been bitten in half below the waist. At noon on the 5th day, a Lockheed Ventura swung in low and he spotted us, a young pilot, lot younger than Mr. Hooper here. Anyway, he spotted us, and a few hours later a big ol' fat PBY come down and started to pick us up. You know, that was the time I was most frightened, waitin' for my turn. I'll never put on a life jacket again. So, 1,100 men went into the water, 316 men come out, the sharks took the rest. June the 29th, 1945, anyway, we delivered the bomb. Thor Ragnarok. Matilda. Lord of the Rings series. The Matrix is just so good. Twister, because tornadoes. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, life moves pretty fast. The Rock. Lord of the Rings. The Incredibles, the best superhero movie of all time. Rat Race, always happy to jump into that film at any moment, it always makes me laugh. I have watched Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse so many times, I can't even count how many times I have watched it anymore. The movie is so amazing. If you haven't watched it yet, it's on Netflix for some countries. I would recommend watching it once, then once you're done, watch a video explaining all the little secrets and Easter eggs. Watch the movie again, then get the physical copy from a store or your local library and watch the director's cut of the movie. It's worth all the time and effort to go through all of it. It's just such an amazing movie and I'm so excited for the sequel coming out in October next year. Edit. The alternate, universe cut, director's cut, is only available on the Blu-ray version of the movie. The Princess Bride. Oh brother, where art thou? Constantine. Finding Nemo. Pan's Labyrinth. I don't even mind the subtitles anymore, that movie is always a wild ride. Superbad, fun to focus on the nostalgia of teenhood for a short while. Lord of War, Con Air, love them. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World or Howl's Moving Castle. The Big Lebowski. Romy and Michelle. I'm really surprised that Spaceballs hasn't been mentioned yet. My cousin Vinny, always brings me joy and laughs. Contact, The Man from Earth. The Matrix. Breakfast Club. Action/sci-fi, Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat. Probably Tom Cruise's best action flick and Emily Blunt is phenomenal, have probably watched it 10-15 times. Comedy, Superbad, drama, Shawshank Redemption and an odd one here but The Hurricane. Guess I like wrongfully imprisonment movies. Donnie Darko. Tombstone. Step Brothers. Ratatouille. Home Alone 1 and 2 and Mrs. Doubtfire. They're on TV quite often and I'm up for watching them whenever I see them on the TV guide, much to my fiance's chagrin. Die Hard 1 and 3, Back to the Future 1 and 2, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey, Dazed and Confused, Fifth Element, Starship Troopers, Waterworld. Bull Durham. Mallrats, the delivery of some of the lines in that movie get me every damn time, also Donnie Darko. Shrek and Shrek 2. Knives Out, such a fun movie and you can find new details every time you watch. Django. The Birdcage, I love Nathan Lane Red Heart. Muppet Treasure Island, it's a masterpiece, probably the only way to improve an all-time classic novel us to add Muppets. The Martian, it's just so entertaining. Kubo and the Two Strings. Madagascar 3, a little cousin obsessed with the movie made me realize the movie doesn't get boring after watching it 3 times a day sometimes in a row. Airplane. So I Married an Axe Murderer, such an underrated gem. I am insistent that it is his unsung comedy masterpiece and I will absolutely forever die on that hill. Back to the Future 1-3. Saving Private Ryan and Pineapple Express. I went through a serious phase of watching literally nothing but these 2 movies for 3-5 months straight. LMFAO. Goodfellas, Terminator 2. Airplane, Naked Gun, Top Secret. Willow, Lord of the Rings, extended of course, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, The Princess Bride, Top Secret, Iron Man, Indiana Jones, any of them, Nacho Libre, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, Django Unchained. Gladiator, Shawshank Redemption, HP. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Big Trouble in Little China. Iron Man, Back in Black makes me happy. The Grand Budapest Hotel. Steel Magnolias, love that movie. Oh definitely The Mummy, I mean the good one, with Brendan Fraser. Clerks, The Princess Bride, Big Trouble in Little China, Evil Dead 2, High Fidelity. Shrek, Coraline, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Home, Spirited Away, Ghibli Film, Kiki's Delivery Service, Ghibli Film, Castle in the Sky, Ghibli Film. Remember the Titans. Guardians of the Galaxy Vol 1, Comedies tend to be very rewatchable and that soundtrack is great. Pacific Rim, the first one. The Jerk or Fight Club. Stand By Me, Goonies, and Flight of the Navigator. Blues Brothers, seen it hundreds of times, so one day it was on TV right before the big car chase. I grabbed my 8-year-old to watch. When it gets to the part where they reach the Cook County Assessor's office, my son says, "Isn't that Steven Spielberg?" Can't believe I had missed that the whole time. National Treasure. The 2005 Pride and Prejudice. I'll watch it any mood, whenever I notice it's on a streaming service, and even if I notice it on ITV, even though I know there'll be a million ad breaks, it's just pleasant. Pulp Fiction and Shrek 1 are the epitome of seen it 1,000 times, still as good as the first time I watched them. Rango. The Mummy or The Mummy Returns. Empire Strikes Back. I love that movie so much that I will never say no to watching it. Any well-made high fantasy movies, with the Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit as primary examples. Madagascar 2. The Road to El Dorado, Coco, The Princess and the Frog, Joker, any of the Bill and Ted movies, they are all amazing movies, highly recommend watching all of them. Young Frankenstein. Casablanca, The Big Sleep, Bogart version, The Man Who Would Be King, Inception, The Thin Man, M.R. Roberts. Holes, That's All I'm Gonna Say. Dr. Strangelove. Field of Dreams, Shawshank, Die Hard, Overboard, Russell/Hahn. Mine is The Imitation Game, love that movie. Armageddon. The Lost Boys, Weird Science, The Goonies. The Labyrinth, was obsessed with it as a kid and watched it on repeat for years. David Bowie's Bulge is what I blame for my queerness, LMAO. When Harry Met Sally. Porco Rosso. A Mighty Wind, it's just so wholesome while being out of left field. Dodgeball, it's a great background flick that never fails to amuse and entertain. Coming to America. You've made it through the whole video. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing for more videos every day. I upload 2 videos every single day.